At the center of the universe, at the border between the light and the dark, stands Castle Grayskull. For countless ages, the heroes of Grayskull have defended the universe against the forces of evil. Walk through the Hall of Living Pictures and learn the history and mystery of the masters of the universe. Dive deep into the mythology of Eternia, Etheria, and more. For those who know the stories of Grayskull will come the power. The power to be supreme. The power to be all-knowing. The power to be Legends of Grayskull.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 12 and a half of Legends of Grayskull, the fan podcast where we discuss the history and the mystery, the magic, the mythology of He-Man, She-Ra, Eternia, Etheria, Primus, Nordor, New Adventures, Old Adventures, Filmation, Jetlag, MYP, Princess of Power, Masters of the Universe, even some mini-comics. I'm Matthew Dooch. I'm here with Sean Scavarna. Sean, how are we doing tonight?
I'm happy. We're going to talk mini comics.
Mini comics.
This is always a happy spot for me. And
mini comics.
Yeah, that's funny. You have that one tonight, and I went old school. And the old school, I'm looking through this tonight, and man, is this bringing back memories to look through these. I love it.
I don't think I have any old school mini comics, to be honest with you.
That makes my heart hurt. Why do you say such things?
You know what? It really, and it's odd because I'm kind of like a literature guy. You know that I've made a point to get all the golden books and everything else. But the not having the mini comics really doesn't bother me because this is such an amazing collection right here.
It is.
And the way they amped everything up and you know color corrected and they blew it up. I mean, this is bigger even than that. And it's really not that. I thought I might have. No, we're still recording. We're good.
I was gonna say, did you just kill a kitten? Is that what you just?
There was one time. Remember what was it? It was one of the multiverse episodes where I like slammed my copy down and I accidentally hit the stop record button and we talked for like 5 minutes and then I'm like, oh wait, we haven't been recording for a while here.
Remember what you just said.
So yes, I didn't do this. But honestly, this is not a bad-sized book. And it's not too heavy, really. It's not, it's not the newspaper strips or even like the art books or anything. Like this one, I can like carry around. I can read on my lap. It doesn't really bother me that I don't have the mini comics. But
well, I got it myself. So, I understand because it's a great resource. I love that they're all together in one place. The only thing that I hate now is when you go anywhere and check it out to see how much it's going to cost you. Back when I got it, I think I paid $20 tops or something like that, even shipped. And now, not so much.
No.
So,
I think
that one tear, my son tore it.
Cheaper too. Got Amazon, I think for a while there had it like $15 or something. I'm like, sold.
Yeah, I think I got mine probably around that same price. I want to say I rounded it up to 20 because I don't remember what it was, but. Yeah, it was rough because I was sharing them with my son and my daughter when I got it, and it was one of the early Alcala ones, and he just he took the page too quickly, and all of a sudden, and my wife heard me actually make a sound like somebody gut punched me, and she's like, "Well, how much is it going to cost to get you a new one if you want to get one?" Because at that time, $15.
Right.
By the time I got around to going, "Hey, I want to get one of those," I'm like. 70, whatever, or whatever it is. Yeah, so it's okay.
I think
my son showed he loves He-Man that way.
Yeah, almost all the Dark Horse books now are getting pretty up there. Most of them have gone out of print.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. If you want a Dark Horse book, jump on it when it comes out because it's once they go out of print, man, that's it. The character guide now, that's going for big bucks. Have you seen the Filmation guide pricing lately?
No, I haven't.
That thing's going for $100 easily.
Wow.
And I think same thing. I think I got mine for like $25. It's like, but it's And they're worth it, guys. If you haven't picked them up, they have so much extra in them. There's so many
Yep.
interviews in here, and they got the little trivia and stuff. So,
yeah, I like the trivia parts.
Yeah,
it's like the director's commentary of the mini comics, basically.
Which I'll be interested to see if there is any in here because, I actually read this on my phone during my break at work today, so I have not flipped through it in the mini comic collection yet.
Okay.
So there might be some interesting tidbits along the way. So Sean, since you've got the smaller, lighter, easier to hold up to the camera, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Ram Man. Here we go. So, yeah, He-Man meets Ram Man, and
now, did you have this mini comic as a kid?
Yeah, well, this is the mini comic from when I was a kid.
That is
yes,
his
I did have that.
Copy.
This is my childhood copy.
Now, were you a bad kid who marked all his books up with crayons and stickers and marker and stuff?
I did not.
Very good.
I did not. No, I don't think any of my He-Man ones have it. I might have done it with other things, but the He-Man ones were like sacred to me. That was me being
never.
Oh, what was that?
I said I'd never mark up any of my books. Like that is just, oh my god, I treated them with such, probably even more so than the toys, honestly. Like because the toys I would bang around a bit, fight and everything.
Yeah.
But man, I did not understand those kids who would like scribble in books and stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're ruining it.
Exactly. If it was a coloring book, all bets were off. But if it was a storybook, my mom instilled it in me. Like, no, you don't need to do that. The colors are already there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I probably did with one or two here and there because when I got crayons in my hands when I was a kid, I just went crazy. But yeah, like even to write my name in a record book or a storybook, that was even like taboo to me. I was like, you're defacing it. You're not supposed. It's like it says this book belongs to. It's like no.
I never liked filling that out either. My mom put my name in some of them, but I'm like, no, I'd like it nice and clean and
exactly mint condition. This is the way the director originally intended it. But I mean, for me at least, when I look through these, this is a huge part of why these mean a lot. That whole here's all the sales tools to get you to buy all of these, and when you see the line art and all that stuff, and even the back of this, you get
those are what I remember.
Oh my god, it's like that's part of why like when I first saw classics and then I'm thinking of these, and all of a sudden I see classics and I'm like, oh my god, they did it. They cracked the code. They managed to get me what I saw here as a figure finally, because there was a certain look to them on there that they weren't 100% that way in the vintage line and stuff. And, but yeah, this one, I guess I'd say there's four. You have the Ram Man, Triclops, Trapjaw.
Oh, you're talking about the Texera age?
The cone or the cone Texera, and Manny Faces. I kind of consider those kind of like the next four after the originals.
Absolutely.
And there's something.
Wave.
There's something pretty mythic about these, even though it's like when you look at the cover of this, for instance. And you have the way Grayskull looks here versus how Alcala was doing it.
Hang on, we're breaking up pretty bad. All right, we should be good now. So yes, the cover. The cover is epic.
The cover is epic, and it's funny to me. When I was a kid, even I noticed the continuity between the Alcala ones being the like Castle Grayskull had the like almost the toy look or a little pre-toy look.
Yeah.
And then when you get into this, it's like a fort.
Yeah,
Castle Grayskull is a fort.
Fortress with four walls and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So it reminds me like when we got 2000X, it does remind me of like I think they took a little of his inspiration on the cartoon to at least do the castle that way.
Yeah, it was a little
because it definitely had that vibe.
Yeah, no, I don't. This one I never had as a kid. I don't think I even Yeah, no, Ooh, it would have been a long time before I saw it. Probably like on He-Man.org when they started uploading all the mini comics.
Okay.
Because even the reissues, I don't think came with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably never had the original in my hand for this one. Obviously, I got the reproduction in here. And most of these, honestly, I don't have a childhood attachment to the second wave, because same thing, like the Trapjaw Triclops ones, I saw those when the reissues came out around, 1999 there.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I saw those. And what's the other one? Oh, Manny Faces. I think that's another one I never had, because I don't think they reissued Manny Faces in the commemorative edition, if I recall correctly. Maybe they did. But yeah, these
I don't know.
These are an interesting little pocket here, because they kind of remind me of, they're like the step before that DC miniseries that we've already covered. Like you're kind of getting towards that, where there's some more civilization here. It's not as like wasteland, but it's still not the royal family and everything that we're gonna get eventually, you know.
And basically, you do have in the Alcala ones. There is that feeling of He-Man's like a big barbarian guy and all that way. This it's like he's like a warrior hero. The way that there's especially a scene in this one where it's like, he's the protector of Eternia, and all that. So
yeah, and you're starting to get a little more of the kindness and the humor from He-Man here already.
This one not as much as others, though. The more I think about it, but it's getting there. It's on the road.
Right. It's more than the Alcala was my point. You're getting
definitely.
They're getting a little more humor, not really humor, but a little more I don't know, patience, calm. Like, he's not just like, oh, I'm gonna fight you, which we'll see here right at the beginning here. Like, if this had been in the first four, he would have been throwing punches immediately. And in this one, he's pretty subdued. So this is He-Man meets Rayman. The writer was Gary Cohn, like you said. Pencils were Mark Texera. Inks done by Todd Smith, and color was Anthony Tollin. Let me go ahead and pull open my mini comic book too here, so that in case there's any tidbits. And actually, that's right on the first page. For the first time in mini comics, we do see credits for the creators on it. So this was the first mini comic.
So that was luck of the draw, because you and I were like, okay, which one of the four did we want to do? And you're like, Ram Man.
Yeah.
Here it is, the first of the second wave, basically.
Yeah, that's how they put it here. They put it in the mini comic collection. They put it as right after the Alcalas. So. Probably because it doesn't feature Trapjaw, it doesn't feature Triclops, so I guess it just makes sense that this would be next. And this is our first time meeting Ram Man.
Yeah.
In anything. So we start off here, and right off the bat you've got the demon Skeletor spying on He-Man. He realizes he's encountered a new opponent. And I really like the characterization of Ram Man in this. Everyone kind of does that thing with Ram Man where he's kind of like the simpleton, the not dumb, but not so bright,
Yeah, he's the least likely that you want to be as a tactician.
Right.
In any version so far.
For some reason, they always take the guy who runs around hitting things with his head to kind of be a few bulbs short. So, figure that one out.
Yeah, well.
But I like it here because he's not... He almost feels, reading through here, like a Forrest Gump kind of character. Like, he's just like... I've got my things, this is what I do, and, don't get in my way. Especially right here, he goes, go away, you're not supposed to be here. I'm Ram Man, and this is my place. Like, I have no idea what's going on out there in the world. I have no idea about Skeletor, Beastman, any of this. But this is my land. Why why are you here? Like, and it's that simple for him. It's
black and white.
It's black and white. And he even, He-Man tries to reason with him at first. He says, I mean you no harm. I'm on an urgent mission. I've got to cross here. And flip to the next page here. And he's, no, you're just trying to trick me, just like everyone else. So you kind of get that feeling like, okay, he's grown up with this. Like, people have been, tricking him, making fun of him all his life.
Yeah.
And he's had it. He's got his little plot of land. Everyone leave him alone. Like, it's a neat take on the character here. And then he just bonks the whole attack track over, flips He-Man out,
I'll make you go away.
I'll make you go away. But they do show that He-Man's more powerful. He knocks him away, and then he just takes off. He-Man's like, I'm not here to fight you. I just need to get through. And this is what I was talking about. Like, so we're softening him a little bit from that pure barbarian. But he's still a little, he's a quick to act. He's like, okay, I gotta get through here. So he punches Rain Man away and he takes off. Yeah. So it's kind of middle ground to me between the two versions.
That's why I said it's like we're kind of bridging that border of, the old to the new. But like right off the bat, we have him just punch Ram Man out here, and it's like, well, he's not really in a giving mood today, I guess is the term that they always.
And then he thinks it, but he doesn't say it. He thinks, I did not wish to fight him, but it seems that is all he understands. So it's like he's not necessarily wanting to fight all the time, but you know what? If you're going to fight me, I'm going to fight you. Like, whatever. Yeah. So he's not quite the diplomat that he'll become, but he's getting there. And then Skeletor just sees this as a perfect opportunity to use Ram Man to try and get into Grayskull, and he tells Ram Man, I'm Skeletor, this is Beastman, we'll be your friends, not like that evil He-Man, he's the terror of all Eternia. Ram Man, he is, and Skeletor just feeds him this whole line here about, oh yes, I'm noble and I've learned where that fiend He-Man lives. We can get him. We can take him by surprise. We'll become great heroes, and everyone will love us. But we need your help. Like, here is manipulative Skeletor here. This is. I can picture Campbell Lane voicing him. Like, that's. He's selling Ram Man the whole car lot.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. When I was rereading this, I'm like, oh my God, we touched on that in New Adventures last episode with the whole Skeletor is the one that meets Hydron and Flipshot first, and then boom, here we have this, and it's like ironic that our timing with this. I didn't even think of this part when you were like, let's do Ram Man, and it's like, well, there you go, we get the follow up. He's been doing this all along, people.
Yes, he can be a master manipulator.
He can. Yeah.
My problem with New Adventures is that's about all he was. So, I love this shot here where Skeletor opens a portal to Grayskull. That's just awesome colors and everything. You've still got Skeletor's got one half of the power sword in this still, so you're still dealing with the two halves, even though it's not brought up here. Like for once, they don't have to like find and combine them and split them up again. We're just focused on the story here. And even Beastman, the way he's drawn throughout this, like he's quite a bit off model, but I still like the way Texera drew him. He's very ape-like. He's lots of hunched over, dragging knuckles. Very ferocious looking.
His overall take on this is it's almost like it's a great compliment to Alcala, but he put his own stamp on this stuff really fast. And like, if there's any character in it that I'm not as big of a fan of, it's actually He-Man. I'm not a huge fan of him having the Thor-like hair flowing, But, there's some moments in his mini comics where when you see He-Man mad at somebody,
Right.
especially when he's going up against Skeletor, there is this, like, when I was a kid, I remember going, oh, like, like, it's like, that was like hatred and rage he's spewing at Skeletor, and you're like, you could feel it through the way he did those panels. But his take on Beastman and Skeletor are just some of my favorites. And Beastman actually looks much more ferocious to me in this than in the Alcala ones. Those, for me, always felt like he would be a lot more of like a simian kind of guy. This, it's like, no, he's just this like primal looking warrior dude that's following around Skeletor. And I'm like, that works. That actually slightly more disturbing to me.
Like a beast man.
He's a beast man. He's a brute.
A beast of a man.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, he uses him as hired muscle, basically, and it works. Oh, yeah. So there you have it.
And so Skeletor and Beastman convince Ram-Man to join them. He's even here. Skeletor has been watching Ram-Man. He's already keyed in on his insecurities. Because right here it goes, "Behold, Ram-Man, the home of our enemy He-Man. He is in the castle laughing at you." Like, he's the Skeletor here. He's getting to a point where he's not just like a sorcerer, mage, whatever. He's actually like a calculating. He's thinking. He's like he's reading his opponent. And I like that. I like that they're adding some depth to these characters in this mini comic.
And it's also giving a power range for Ram-Man. Yeah. Because if you think of all the different ways Skeletor is trying to get into Grayskull throughout the mini comics, not just this one, but other ones, it's like he uses a heck of a lot of stuff to try to get in there. And to think Ram-Man's somebody he's going to use to do one of those missions to do it, that kind of gives you a power level of Ram-Man and how destructive he could be. So... that definitely fleshes out his story really easily.
Absolutely. And then we get to the next page here where we see the sorceress. Yes, she is the sorceress officially now. The transition, transition's not quite complete. The name transition is complete. But it is still that Teela with the snake armor on her as the sorceress. But yeah, and she's just it's showing, and here we're seeing that they're moving, they're fleshing the world out a bit more. It's not, it even says here, elsewhere on Eternia there are places of lush wonder and beauty, and in one of them the sorceress finds peace and contentment. So they've already realized that they need to move on past just that complete wasteland, and so now they've got the juxtaposition, which the whole series will become known for when it culminates in the light and dark hemispheres. But they're getting it already here with this. Okay, there are these places that are just barren wastelands, but then there are these gardens that are just beautiful and full of life. Like, it's the two halves of the world, and that's where she is, chilling with her pigeon friends there. And a squirrel. There's a nice squirrel there. He's joining in. And she senses a disturbance, and she's gonna use her sorcery to reveal what's going on. And she sees Skeletor attacking the gates of Castle Grayskull yet again. And even she's worried that he might succeed. She's like, well, he's got this guy like ramming the door down. That's a pretty good plan. That might work. Yeah. And
oh crap!
Yeah, no, this is legit here, people. And of course, she has to find He-Man. He's the only man who can stop Skeletor and his powerful new henchman in time. And I will say that I skipping ahead a little bit, but I do like that even though she calls him Skeletor's henchman, they didn't really make Ram-Man evil here. He was tricked by Skeletor to serve a purpose. I don't always like when they have to make the hero evil first. It can be done well, but a lot of times it just feels ham-fisted. I'm looking at you, Fistos Forest.
Well, even Manny Faces. I mean, they had it. You know, he pulled one on him, and it turned him evil by being the monster version of him for a bit and stuff in the mini comics.
See,
so I like that.
And that, not to tangent too far, because I know we'll get to Manny Faces someday. But I like the mini comic where he was turned into the Beast and he was evil. Rather than film. That's actually one where I prefer that over Filmation, because I didn't like Filmation just like, oh, he's just running around being evil and then he turns good.
Exactly. Even though I wasn't a fan of that either.
I do like Mystery Manny Faces. It's a solid episode overall, but if I have to choose, it makes more sense for him to be turned evil than just like, oh, I'm wandering around by myself causing havoc, and then all of a sudden I'm good. Like, that's same thing with the Fistos Forest. It doesn't work for me. But this I liked, how he just tricked Rayman into helping him.
Yeah.
And so the sorceress hoofs off to, or Zlink. Zlink? Z-L-I-N-K. For those of you who are listening to the audio and not able to see this, I got it on the screen here. Zlink is the word that the spell makes when she disappears. Not a poof or a puff. It's a Zlink.
That's why all those animals all look confused, and shocked. It's the noise. That's all it is the noise that freaked them out.
Oh. But yeah, so we get catching up with He-Man here on his urgent mission he talked about earlier, and he's facing a pretty cool looking beastie here.
Yep.
Called the Glorm, big 4-armed, 2-legged. I don't know, lion type creature, lion bear.
Yeah,
check out your minicomic if you haven't seen it in a while. It's
the one angle it looks like that, and then the other angle it looks like a dude to me, like when he's leaning back on the bottom there. So it's like, I don't know what he is exactly, but as a kid I remember going, why don't I own this already?
Exactly.
It's the beast thing we talked about.
I don't need to get on my soapbox again, but check out my previous episodes. I brought it up many times. Mattel has missed the boat over the years with not doing beast characters.
I agree completely. I mean, the mini comics and the original comics that DC did were loaded with those that, man, they could have made a fortune just based on half of those designs. Absolutely. You know, like I'm so glad that Classics gave us Procrustes of all things. Well, like when that guy showed up, I was like, holy crap, that's awesome.
And I was gonna say, Procrustes right here. That's the base for this. You take Procrustes. I think he uses the Megator legs anyways already, and it's basically a new head and a paint job. I mean that's about all you're looking at here. But yeah, it's a really cool beast. He-Man just you don't really see it, but he slices him in half with the battle axe. Basically, gives him a big gut shot with the battle axe, and he falls and doesn't get up again.
This sequence always makes me think of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is so very much Indy in the streets of Cairo, and then they like everybody parts, and there's that swordsman, and he's showing off, and then Indy just pulls his gun, boom, and that's the end of it. That's exactly what He-Man did here.
Yeah. I like to think that there was a bit longer battle, but
works for me though. It shows he's the most powerful man in the universe. One shot, boom, that's the end of it.
Yeah, and then the villagers are cheering him. He slew the Glorm. He-Man has saved us, and all hail He-Man. And it's and here we got He-Man being a bit more, like I said, he's evolving here. He's being a bit more humble. No, I don't deserve any praise. And they're all celebrating him. So that's you're getting into a more populated world here. There's all these villages and everything. He-Man's known. Even though really this whole comic just has He-Man in it and not even any of the other heroic warriors, it feels more populated. It feels more like, okay, these guys are a thing now. Although I my nitpick about the art here, I hate He-Man's power harness throughout this. It's very oddly done. It's like
like
two
I said,
belts
out of all
crisscrossed.
of them. I mean, out of all of the characters that Texera did well. He-Man's the one that for me it's like it's almost there, but it's like 90% of what I want to see. There's that 10% that's missing that it just doesn't click quite right for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, otherwise, yeah, I can't really complain too much, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sorceress appears here, and she's telling him, hey, Skeletor's attacking Grayskull. You have to hurry. He's about to breach the gates. And He-Man, apologizes and says he can't stay, and he takes off. And it didn't bring it up earlier, but the attack track is featured very prominently in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's very much a prototype version of the attack track. It's got that windshield on it. The guns are a little bit different. I know it's popped up over the years of concept drawings. And I want to say this is the first appearance of the attack track, isn't it? I know we got the Battle Ram in the Wind Raider in the earlier ones.
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first appearance of it anywhere because I mean, if the Alcala ones were like literally right before this, we didn't see it in any of those.
I didn't think we did, but I couldn't remember
and even
those first four as well.
Even the colors for the attack track in this being more orange and browns and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, they didn't even have the colors figured out. So yeah, I'd imagine this is a very first appearance.
Yeah, so it's very much based on the prototype. It's got prototype colors, as is Ram Man throughout all this, honestly, because he same thing. He's featuring more of his card back color scheme, even though that's not quite there either. But it's closer to the card back than what it is to the eventual toy we get. It's got the brown clothing with the red springy legs rather than the green. So it just shows you how far in advance they were working on this art here, where like these toys weren't even finalized, weren't even into production, and they're already having to make these mini comics for them. And it plagues pretty much, Manny Face has wound up all right, but the other three out of this wave, the key new character is very different than what you would eventually get. But yeah, back to the action here. Already here, and this is what I mean about Rain Man. Already here, Rain Man's like, Skeletor, can we stop for a while? Like, I need to rest. Like, I've been banging on that door for like an hour now. Like, give me a second. And Skeletor's already showing his true colors here, where he's like, no, you fool, keep going. And him and Beastman talk, Beastman's doubting that he can actually break through. Skeletor thinks if he gives him some help from his power sword, a little mystical energy, between Ram Man and the energy from the power sword, that they'll be able to crack through the gate. And so at this point, he just turns Ram Man into his own human battering ram. Like, Ram Man's not even in control anymore. He's begging Skeletor to let him stop,
It's amazing how in one page of this mini comic, it just does so much, because I feel so much pity for Ram Man.
Yeah.
Here. Just the actual, ow, please, Skeletor, let me stop. I need to rest. And it's like, that was all I needed to know of how much this guy's going through right now.
Right.
It's perfect. And then when you actually hear the back and forth between Beastman and Skeletor, and Skeletor's flat out like, I'm gonna kill him.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He's fodder to me as long as that jawbridge comes down.
Yep.
And that for me is just like, dude, like they don't really go to that level in most of this stuff in that way. Here he is. He's actually willing to kill somebody in order to get into Grayskull for the first time. It's like, that's
he will ram his dead body through that jawbridge.
Crap,
that is perfectly fine with him. And Ram Man, this is what I mean. Ram Man's not a villain in this. He's tricked into helping Skeletor. That for 1 second is he a villain? Because right out the bay, he's like, well, yeah, I was mad at that He-Man guy, but like this isn't worth it. Like, he's ready. He's ready to pack up. And like I said, Skeletor just takes him and just starts ramming him, and we'll see it on the next page even more so here. Like, Like, that's not Ram Man in control at all. That's Skeletor using the power sword to ram him into the castle door. Like,
Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy who can do this, and he's
yeah.
actually, while he's ramming, he's actually saying, "No, let me stop, please." It's like,
Yeah.
I can't not have my heart go out to that character at that point, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, that guy knows he's at his limit, and that's what he does for
Right.
a living. That's his thing, Like,
Absolutely.
oh, poor guy.
No, and luckily He-Man shows up here, and he's like, release Ram Man. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And
Why you gotta pick on him, man?
yeah. And I love this, like you said about Skeletor and Beastman here. Like, even here, they're like, Beastman's afraid to go up against He-Man, and Skeletor's like, well, you don't have to win. You just have to keep him busy. Like, he knows,
exactly.
like, no, we're not gonna beat He-Man, but buy me 5 minutes. 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Beastman. That's all I need. And same thing here. Ram Man realizes, like Raymond's not even focused on the ramming. Like, he's just like, his body's along for the ride, and he's like, He-Man's not even in this castle. Skeletor's a liar. He's the evil one. Like,
although at that point, when he's saying "no, stop, please" kind of stuff, that would be me going, he's a dick. He's evil already. He-Man might have punched you earlier, but he left you alone after that. This guy's trying to kill you at this point. He is evil.
And that's it. Ram Man's not an idiot, like I said. He didn't realize it, but he was just he's so focused on himself. He's simple. He's a simple guy. You know?
And actually, right down there on the second page, that shot of He-Man while he's addressing Skeletor, that's the kind of stuff Texera brings to the table of what I said. It's like he gets that commanding, angry presence of He-Man down like nobody's business in this. I love it.
Yeah, he just needs to go get a haircut.
Yeah, he does.
Honestly, I like that the panel in the middle of the page there where He-Man and Beastman are fighting. Like, there's so much energy there. It's unbelievable. Even the page before, jump back a little bit there, Beastman and He-Man squaring off.
I love that too.
Yeah, and it's a very different looking Beastman, almost with like a mohawk, and
he looks like something
his
out
armor, but it works. Like, he looks like this crazy beast gladiator. Like,
yeah, he looks like something out of Road Warrior or something, in that kind of 80s vein that of its time. But actually, the page after this, because I could see it with how my minicomic is probably one of my absolutely favorite pages of the entire book.
Sure, let's get there. Because, I mean, that's basically, He-Man knocks out Beastman. He goes for Skeletor, and even Skeletor, same thing. He's like, okay, I've just got to hold him off for a few moments, and the castle will be mine,
Yep.
And go ahead, next page.
This whole page, when I was a kid, it was burned into my memory because that shot at the top where He-Man's like ducking while Skeletor's swinging the power sword at him. There's something just amazing looking about that composition. And even like this part here, it's like He-Man's given it all he's got to take on both of them at this point, while Ram Man's still in the lurch. And I like that at the end of that page, Beastman still manages to get the upper hand for Skeletor and knock him off balance. And it's like you start off with such a powerful thing of him like going in there. He's like, going toe to toe with Skeletor. He might be able to get the upper hand, and then boom! I love how in one page, it all just it goes from I'm on top of this to oh crap, now we're both in trouble. And as a kid, I don't know what it was, but that page was like burned into my memory of like, that's just cool. Like he's on top, and then the tables turn on him at the end. It's only in 3 panels.
I like that too. How Beastman and Skeletor, while they're not as strong as He-Man, they are competent warriors and dirty too. Because like Beastman just takes out He-Man from behind while he's distracted by Skeletor. Like, that's how do you guard against that? Even if you are the most powerful man in the universe.
Exactly.
And then the next page there where Skeletor's ready to finish He-Man off. He's like,
exactly.
There's no doubt in my mind he's about 30 seconds away from decapitating He-Man. Like I got you now. But luckily, all that power that Skeletor used allowed Ram Man to break free of the mystic energy. And you can see him there. Like you said, Texera, he's got some energy. Like, you can feel how worn out Rayman is there. He's like leaning against the side of the castle, like, oh my god, like
he looks dizzy.
Yeah, like I am just beat. But then the second he turns around and he sees, oh no, like I'm free, but He-Man's down. And he's like, well, I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna ram, and he just boom takes out Skeletor.
But I love that. Now Ram Man is free, and he's angry. It's like I love stories like that where it's like the poor guy was doing what he had to do because he's being controlled, and now he gets his chance, and you get to have that that payoff for the guy finally.
Absolutely. So now with He-Man and Rayman teamed up, Skeletor and Beastman aren't so itching to fight anymore.
Yeah.
And so Skeletor, he's smart. He realizes his plan's over. And he's like, well, you may have beaten me once again, He-Man, but there is always next time. And we get our nice traditional poof, vanishing.
But he didn't zlink.
He didn't zlink.
He didn't. Apparently, that is just the sorceress. That is her copyright trademark material.
She zlinks.
And
villains do not zlink.
It's like when I looked at this tonight, I was. It's like there will always be next time, and it's like they kind of cremated themselves. It's like there's these puddles of or like these little clumps of ash in front of He-Man, and he's just like, holy crap, Skeletor just died. Like, he's like, he didn't want to fight me so much, he killed himself.
But yeah, so that takes us to our final page here. Rayman's all upset. Oh no, we lost our foes, He-Man. They've disappeared. And He-Man's like, look at the bright side. We may have lost our enemies, but we have each gained a new friend. And you got that nice awkward handshake there.
Yep. It's like one of them wanted to fist bump and the other didn't know what they wanted to do.
And it said, what are we?
It reminds me of Wedding Cry. Do we do the ass out hug? Is that how we handle it at the end of the night? It's like,
right.
Do we want to be bros? Do we want to be friends? What are we doing here? So.
But it shows what this whole second wave is about. It's about bolstering the heroes. It's about bolstering the villains. So He-Man got his ally here. Skeletor is going to get Trapjaw and Triclops, and then He-Man's going to get Man-E-Faces as well here.
And this is good stuff. Like, when I was a kid, it was exciting to get these.
I love it.
Because it's like, here's Ram Man, here's Man-E-Faces, and you're just sitting there going like, like, how cool is this that I get to have a little story to know who these guys are with each time that, I buy a new one, here's his storybook about it, because the originals you had the 4 and that was it, and I enjoyed that quite a lot when I was a kid, just to go, okay, what's Ram Man about, what's Man-E-Faces doing?
That's it tells you everything you need to know. It gets them into the action, it shows their powers, and it shows you the basic template of who they are. Ram Man is a simple man who just likes to ram things and wants people to leave him, to get out of his property. That's not that much to ask, is it?
Honestly, that whole thinking, I honestly wish they would have put it into 2000X, because they did have that episode, the Night of the Shadow Beast, where that was a very Ram Man centric one, and his weakness was he didn't like the dark.
Yeah.
And even watching that, as I've gotten older, I'm like, that didn't fire on all cylinders as this is the reason that this is the weakness of him. It should have been he was somebody that was always picked on. Yeah. And the idea that he is who he is to the masters because these were people that saw the value of him, and like this book for me is like a huge case in point of that is how my Ram Man is. That's my canon Ram Man, because this book in particular made me, I don't know how I did it, but like a lot of people say the morals of He-Man were something like the Filmation. It was something they took with them through life. This one was one that every time I wanted to pick on someone when I was younger, I always thought of how Ram Man felt in this, and I'm like, I remember feeling bad for him there. Do I want to make somebody make them feel that way?
Yeah.
Do I want to do that to someone? No, because that's horrible, and that stuck with me. It was the weirdest thing, but it did, and it's always been in the back of my mind. Like, you don't make somebody feel less than themselves, like how he did. Because look at how he is to everybody. It's very much leave me alone. Everybody picks on me. Everybody makes fun of me. It's like, that's horrible.
Yeah, and they don't have to really come out and say it. It's a very, it's all there, but it's all in subtext. Like, you don't have to dwell on it. Yeah. It's well written. You can get the feel of the character. And I know we'll get to Night of the Shadow Beast too, but yeah, I felt it needed a little something more as well. I think it just needed a reason why he was afraid of the dark. Like, just make him have some childhood trauma, and then that solves that whole, But yeah, we'll get there. We'll
get there.
But yeah, so that's He-Man meets Ram Man. Go ahead and show up your back cover again for a minute there, because I did not have that. Yeah. And honestly, that was one of the best parts, was getting to the end of these and just looking at who else, who don't I have yet.
Well, and then on top of that, when I was a kid, my mom ended up reading some of the bottoms of these before, because I was in the beginning of reading when I got some of these. So she'd read off some of the names that were trademarked.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, there's going to be a guy called Cobra Khan, Clawful, Web Store. And I would literally be staring at these on my floor with all my toys around me. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what that guy's going to look like. And it was like the best teaser ever, more than anything else when I was a kid, because all I had was a name to go on.
Right.
So,
I've heard of people,
so many good memories.
I've heard of people doing it that way, like how they could find out about that, but I don't. Fortunately, I was too young then. By the time I was paying attention, everybody was released that was going to be released. So I do remember, though, I don't remember if you collected them right when they came out. I'm sorry, my memory's fuzzy right now. But when the 2000X line came out, and Castle Grayskull was released, the first one that they made, it had that foot chip thing,
Yeah.
Where, you'd put He-Man on there and be like, oh, He-Man, step aside and I'll lower the drawbridge for you, and it'd drop it. Or if Skeletor was there, it would drop the drawbridge on there, And there was a way. It had the computer inside had the on-off switch, and if you did the on-off switch a bunch of times, back and forth, on-off, 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 somebody found out, it would make it go haywire, and it would just spout off a random oh, Prince Adam, you've arrived, and too bad you're here, and it's so we would do that to try and see who else they had programmed into that chip. Who could be coming soon, and it, I know, Prince Adam, which was pretty much a gimme, but, Cyclone and Too Bad were on there, and sure enough, they showed up pretty quick in the line there, so...
That's cool.
That was a fun little thing, making the castle spaz out so it would reveal something to you.
Well, going back to these, going to the old mini comics, and especially the beginning of the line, it always brings that magic of the mystery of what this line was to me at that era. Even though I know here's all the vintage originals that we got, I look at this and I look at that little type on the back, and all I keep thinking is, here I am 4 and 5 years old reading that and going, who are these guys? And it's I know who they are now, but that was a huge part of what made this line so special when I was a kid. Was, a lot of other things, it was kind of a given what you were about to get through either, one way or the other. There was media that was letting you already know some of these things. But with He-Man, it just felt like this is so off the map of a lot of the other lines that were out at that time that, if you saw a name, you might not have a clue what you were getting with that name attached. Cobra Khan, I couldn't figure out what it, I kept guessing what it was. And when I saw who it was, I was like, oh, that's cool, and like Web Store, the automatic thing in my head was the kid, the kid that got adopted by George Papadopoulos and stuff. And then it's like, no, it's actually, there's the spider guy they have now, and all. It's like, man, I love that stuff.
I don't even want to say how long it was until I realized that Web Store was...
Well, this is why you keep me around. I'm the old fogey, and you get to be the young whippersnapper going, hey, I already know all this stuff. Don't worry about this. No, you don't understand.
Like I knew, like I had Web Store.
Yeah.
And I knew he was named Web Store, but I never really like he wasn't a spider to me. Like when I played with him as a kid, like I would just, a blue-eyed demon with a grappling hook backpack. Like, and it wasn't until I got a little bit older, I'm like, oh, Web Store. Like, because same thing. Like, I'm just thinking, I even knew how it was spelled with the O, but I'm still just thinking, like, Webster. Like, that's his name, Webster. Like, there's people named Webster. It's fine. I know it sounds stupid, but, like, there's not... Yeah, I know he's got the extra eyes and everything, but other than that, he's not very spider-like to me. Like, I never... It took me longer than it should have to equate that. I always just treat him as a blue demon guy, like
in the vintage. I'll give it to you. Yeah, I'll give it to you in the vintage. Yeah, and then once 2000X hit, and we had that the Ambrosia version, especially. It's like I'm still that would be my legit. This is Web Store. There's no way other than this. This is how I'm viewing him. And, unfortunately, they never got to that point in either Classics or 2000X making that. But, once they went there, I'm like, oh, this is like we talked about. He can be a figure, but he's also a beast. It's like, that's the best of both worlds right there, mashup, And, but yeah, I mean, this stuff, getting back to the mini comic real quick, this is a delight to me. I mean... These are so much of like the bloodline and the heart and soul of this this toy line of this mythology that going back to this it's like, man, I just smile from ear to ear every time that I get to go to those. So, and I read this one. My son requested this one a lot when I got that book like you have. We would go through them and I'd read one mini comic a night. And he'd actually go, I want Ram Man. I want Ram Man. And I read that one probably 5 or 6 nights in a row of putting him to sleep that night.
Nice.
So, yeah, he's got his favorites now.
Yep. So what's your ranking, Sean?
The thing that's funny about the mini comics for the heroes is the heroes I'm kind of okay with. It's the villains that I always felt, Triclops, Trapjaw. Those were the ones where I was like, ooh, like I love those. But I mean, art, story, everything else, the nostalgia of it all for me. I got to give it an 8 out of 10. So, and one real quick thing since I'm saying it. I really want to talk about it, and we got past it too quick. Sure. The beginning here, this Skeletor and his hands doing the Bela Lugosi hands.
Sure.
It's like the Dracula. He's doing that, the Dracula hands. When I was a kid, I actually tried to get my hands to do that because I thought it was so cool. Because how often did you see an artist wanting to do something like different looking like that with the hands and all that stuff? And it always stuck with me. And when I see that page, I'm always like, hey, I remember how I tried so hard when I was a kid. I couldn't get the double jointed down right at that point. So.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. The art's amazing. The story is good. I like that they, like I said, they didn't make Ram Man a villain, but they made him tricked into helping Skeletor. I just don't have the nostalgia for it, so I'm gonna go a 7 out of 10. But it's still a very enjoyable read. Everyone should check it out. But yeah, I'll go 7 out of 10 on this one. Very good story.
Yeah, it's coalescing on this one. Like it really makes me wish that they would have done like another 4-wave of comics where it could have addressed both He-Man, Skeletor, Beastman, and Man-at-Arms maybe.
Yeah.
Because we do get a Teela one later on and all that stuff. Do. So it would have been kind of cool to have them make a little more of a concrete this is them going forward,
Yeah.
because we didn't really get that out of those characters in the Alcala ones.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just, here, I'm showing up to give you information, and he runs off, or I'll help distract them, He-Man, and He-Man runs out in to do something.
And honestly, just going off memory, he might not show up again until he's pretty much Filmation Man-at-Arms, so...
I want to say you might be right, actually.
I mean, he's in Point Dread.
He shows up a little in the Manny Faces one, though.
Yeah.
Because they're picking on Teela because she keeps saying, "Oh, Manny Faces is quite handsome and this and that," and He-Man and Man-at-Arms are giving her a little bit of guff on that.
But like you said, Teela will get Tale of Teela, but Man-at-Arms, he never really gets a starring role, probably ever. Honestly, I mean, he's just kind of there.
Always the silver medal.
There we go. All right, so that's our mini comic. Because if we keep talking about this, we'll get into the other mini comics, and then we'll have nothing to talk about in the weeks to come.
Exactly.
I know you threw out a Facebook post earlier this week. You want to talk about, or do I?
I did.
Them up? You got them?
Yeah. Actually, I don't, because I'm on my phone. Do you have it pulled up on your side at all? That's the only problem. Is when I'm on my phone, I can't do. I can do what we're doing, and that's about the extent of it.
While I find it, you tell them what you did.
All right. So basically, each week as we record, this is an effort of wanting to get the fans involved. Throw any comments, any questions, feedback, whatever. Feel free. I'm going to put it out each week as we go forward. Just, hey, we're going to record Wednesday night, Thursday night, whatever. So, hey, chime in on this post, and you could ask us any questions, geek-wise, or whatever. And I know it's from the same person, but Manny
Gonzalez.
Manny Gonzalez. Yes, thanks for being our first person to ask questions on that post. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And he did a twofer.
He did.
So
the first part. Who are your fave villains to appear in He-Man besides Skeletor and his allies in the 80s tune? Mine are Dark Dream, Marzo, Demos and Torella, the Enchantress, and Negator. Yes, he's very much Manny. He's our little Filmation guy. He loves his Filmation.
Yep.
So favorite villains besides Skeletor and his allies. Negator's high up there, and he's one that doesn't get a lot of love. And I probably would have left it just at that, except Manny already mentioned him. So I feel like I've got to do something else at least. But yes, Negator is high on my list. Azrog and Spydra, they're also very competent evil villains. They freaked me out as a kid. But probably my number one, and here's one I'm upset we never got a Classics figure of because it'd be so easy at this point, is Dragoon from Trouble in Tralla. He is just amazing. The design, the wings, the fire breathing. And he was smart too. Like he was a good one-shot villain. Would have been nice to see some more of him, even though he did turn good at the end of that episode. And we'll get to that episode sooner rather than later. So Sean, what about you?
I always thought Dragoon was a really cool looking villain. He's one that I do feel he needs some sort of love in action figure form. And I'm gonna say it right now. I don't want an Origins figure of him. I want a Classics because I think he would translate beautifully to Classics.
And it's there already. It's the buzz off feet. It's it's the Drago Man wings. You're looking at basically a new head and new hands. Like I mean that's it. I can't believe he wasn't done.
And I always go to this well, but I always love Chakotay. She is like, for her plan.
Yep.
I think she would have been like Skeletor just wants to get into Grayskull and get the power.
Right.
Chakotay wants nothing to do with that. She wants to throw the entire world into darkness and let the living darkness take over. That is some messed up stuff in my mind.
Absolutely.
So she and even like the visual design of Lord Mask to be her compatriot in that way. It's like both of them, hands down, visually they were striking. But even for the episodes they were on, because even Lord Mask, there was something spooky enough about him.
Freaky. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like, you know, like even Orko trying to take the mask off of him and getting shocked and all that stuff, and then like, you know, the whole he was more shadow than man and all that stuff, and it's like, what was behind the mask? We'll never know. Yeah, I love that aspect. It's very spooky, mysterious. And, you know, for it being a once and done episode with both, because Mask doesn't carry into the other one, and she is only very, very small referenced other than her name and what she was about. And we get to see that door. Like both of them, it's like they were such a great yin and yang for that two-parter that it made my mind just explode in how creepy Eternia would be if they would have been in charge of it, you know.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to think. Otherwise, that would I mean, there are other ones that I remember, like Evil Seed's another one that I always kind of dug because I like that it made everybody have to join forces to fight him. That was such a, I don't remember any time where the heroes and villains had to join forces like that in any cartoon. That was a first for me.
Well, Shigora was the first for me, and to save Skeletor, I saw that one before Evil Seed. Man, that's another Shigora. I mean, honestly, there's too many to list. I mean, almost all of Filmation's villains were incredible. I mean, I could go all day. Shigora, Plundor. I mean, I'm
surprised you didn't do Plundor, to be completely honest. I know you like that guy.
But part of my love for him is just that, just because he doesn't get enough love, you know. So I
the underdog
push him
thing
a lot. He's the underdog. Same with Negator. Like I said, there are too many to list, really. I mean, it's all of the above. I mean, I can't. I'm trying to think of a Filmation villain that I don't care for. I mean, I mean, you could go into like the Energy Beast or something like that, but I don't really count them as a villain per se. So, no, as far as I think Filmation was really good at making one-off villains. Even God, I can never remember his name, and it bugs me crazy. But the one who gives the drugs to Tila's friend, the wizard.
Okay.
This guy
I don't remember his name.
I don't know why because I always want to call him Ming because he's basically just a repaint of
Ming the
Merciless from Flash Gordon. It's the same cell, the same design, repainted cell. But even he, like Jarvan the wizard. There we go. Even he, like he's He's got a good plan. He's got good wits about him. He's smart. He's powerful. It's like, they're all good. All those Filmation villains, they are top notch. And then the second part of his question, which I think I might know what Sean's answer is for this.
Here we go.
If you wanted to see any character make an appearance more than once, who would it be, Sean?
I've already said it, but yeah, I would have loved for especially if Larry DiTillio would have written it too. That would be always my, you have to have that connection, and unfortunately it will never happen now.
Right.
But I would have loved to see if they could have brought Chakotay back. I wanted to bring her back in that our B team storyline and stuff.
I knew exactly who you were going to pick.
I can't help it. It's I'm turning into Pixel Dan with the damn Mosquito thing, and I hate that about me because I don't want to be that guy.
You are.
But when I think about it, there is a huge amount of potential in her, and like what would it have been like for her to even like if Skeletor would have met her, what would that have gone down like? What would it have gone down like to have Evil Lynn have met her?
Yeah.
Some of that stuff, and maybe there was other things other than just her Darklings and stuff that she would be bringing to the part. That's why,
absolutely.
Every time I go to the well of this again, but 2000X, like the way they did Marzo, that would have been enough for me to go, what would she have done on that show?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I would have been okay with it is, okay, we're now doing a new update. So this it can be honoring the old, but here's the update of her. That's the only way I could accept it then, since Larry DiTillio can't do any more with her, is honor what was there and take it in a different direction maybe, and take it in a darker or even, richer direction somehow in that way. But nice. Chakotay, can't help it.
I like it.
She's my mistress of the dark. So.
You know what? For this one, I am gonna go right here. Plundor. I think he could be a good villain if he escaped Gleedle and took off. Maybe even came to Eternia. He's always struck me as like the mob boss, like a Masters. Like he could, like he's gonna be involved in all these schemes, like how he he was in pollution before, but now he's gonna go like I don't know, he's gonna get involved in like a bank fraud scheme or something like that. Like he's what I mean? Like he's not a wizard, he's not a sorcerer, he's not even really hand to hand. He's a schemer and he wants to get rich. Like that can be a neat character when written properly. Like, so I can see him getting out into the cosmos and just causing all sorts of havoc, I
like that, actually, because when I was a kid, that episode was so weird that
it's crazy. It's a Dr. Seuss He-Man episode. It really is.
It is. But there is something to be said about, like if you get past the because a huge part of that episode is just you have all of the craziness of it. Like you said, it's the Dr. Seuss. But if you boil it down to the character, he actually was a bit of a force to be reckoned with in his version, and
was gonna kill an entire planet just to make money.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? Like, that's insane. Like,
it's a little like the Collector in Guardians of the Galaxy. There's that vibe of, like he wants to destroy the galaxy. I live in it,
It's like, so no, he could definitely be used right. I mean, and he was used right in that episode, and we'll get to that episode too. I promise, fans. I promise.
That will be your House of Chakotay. We will have a 5-parter just to talk about Thunder of Plundor.
we got to get time to free up so that we can get back to 2 episodes a week, so we can start turning. That's actually why we started the 2 episodes a week, because like there's so much to talk about. It's like, how do we get through it faster without having every episode be like 5 hours long? Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, let's do the half episodes, which we will get back to those actually being half episodes, in the same week. So
stupid quarantine. Not for the health problems of people, obviously, but just for the fact that our time is so splintered right now that we are just able to only do 1 episode a week, and that's hey, you get 1 episode, that's still good. So
one last thing before we wrap up here, I wanted to pimp this guy out a little bit. Those of you who've been on our Facebook page and stuff, you've seen I've posted a bit about this. Hang on, I'm gonna switch. I'll switch to me big, you small. So the guy, this is an artist I met through Facebook, and his name's I'm sorry, bud. I hope I get this as close to right as I can here. He goes by Kickliy Komiks, and he does these paintings, and he makes these booklets, and I got mine today, so I wanted to pimp this out. He makes these bootleg booklets. I know I think he's done a Star Wars and Oh, I'm blanking on the other ones, but he just finished up his He-Man one, and it's a nice. Well, it's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be, and I keep wanting to go. I'm moving you over here because I want to go to that side.
Go with what you know.
I keep going to that side, so I'm moving you over there. But yes, he does these nice paintings of the characters. I hope that's showing up pretty good, and I mean they're amazing here. I mean, here's his Skeletor. I'm not going to show everything.
Oh, I have seen his stuff around.
I just posted a Thundercats one he did up today. Yeah. He did them all jumping out of the Thunder Tank. It's very well done. He does some of them live too. And I pre-ordered this, so I got some extra. Cards here. There's a nice battle scene there. This is nice. I haven't even seen all these, to be honest with you, because I was trying to avoid some of it so that I'd see it when it got here. But there's a nice Clamp Champ Tila and Battle Armor He-Man on sky sleds flying away from Grayskull.
Nice.
So some really cool stuff. Here's a nice one he did. Battle Cat and Panther fighting. And you can. I'm going to link him down below to his Facebook page. Check it out. Like I said, he's got a lot of videos on there and everything that he goes through, and he does some of this stuff live. I'll show another couple pages. Stratos and Merman there. Really nicely done stuff. And he did say, I talked to him today, and he did say he does have a few copies left. So if you're interested, reach out to him. And one of the cool things, if you had pre-ordered, he does a little sketch for you on the back cover of whatever you want. So I checked.
Who did you have him do?
Who'd you think I had him do?
I think you're Plundor.
He's not on my shirt either.
Okay.
No, I want a hero for this. So I had him do me a nice lizard man.
Oh.
Very
that
nice.
Is a really good lizard man.
And that is actually, I mean, I can feel the paint. Like, he did it right. That one's, the rest is prints, but that one he actually did right on there. Signed it and everything. So, very nicely done. I don't know if I can, or if it's even been charged up long enough. But the last one I want to show off is the Scare Glow he did. And let me try something here. The light from my camera might. Hang on, let me go get the other light. Hang on.
This is making me want to do some Bela Lugosi talk.
Nah, I lost my earbuds. There. Nah, it's probably not charged up enough. I should have pulled it out sooner. Oh, well. I will get a photo of that. He did actually use glow-in-the-dark paint.
That's cool.
On the Scare Glow there. I should have pulled him out earlier. But, so he will glow. I'll get a video of that at some point and put it up there. But yeah, really cool guy. I've talked to him a couple times, back and forth and everything, and very nice work. So if you guys get a chance or you're interested in the booklet, send him a private message on Facebook there or whatever. And Sean, you got anything before we wrap up?
No. After seeing that, I'm like, man, do I got to sit at my drawing table sometime soon? But that's the beauty of quarantine. Well, I know, but the beauty of quarantine, kids 24/7 and working on the normal job. I've seen so many people having so many cool things that they can do over quarantine, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm just working and having my children. I love my children, but I'd love to draw again sometime soon too. So.
He'll get back to it, and Sean does
eventually.
Do amazing artwork. I gotta get. Eventually I will get to a place where I have a place to record where I can have She-Ra up there and some of my cells and
But by then, hopefully, I'll have a little more time under my belt, and I'll go, oh, She-Ra. look at this, and I'll have something better to pull out and be like, yeah, this is the thing. But unfortunately for right now, no, not so much. But anyway, no, that's about it. Other than my self-loathing. No, that was really good stuff. And that's the other thing is the Masters communities in general are so like we have such a wealth of talent through like customizers, artists, writers. It's amazing the kind of stuff. I mean, podcast. Well, all right. I won't put myself in there. I'll put you in it.
I'm not even talking about our show, but I mean just the level of them that the other ones out there, the real ones.
You mean we've been doing this fake all along?
This is all fake. I don't even upload.
You've been telling me you're recording this, right?
No, that's not even. This isn't even really a computer. This is cardboard.
Sean, it's all been a dream all along.
I haven't even been uploading this anywhere. I just got a bunch of files saved on my computer. But no,
it's like I'm listening to nothing on my phone when I actually go to my podcast app. I'm listening to nothing for 2 hours and I'm just there happy.
That's how delusional you are.
At this point with quarantine, it would not surprise me.
But no, the fan community is strong. There's been a number of podcasts that have been on for years. They've uncovered things. They've found people. They've dropped all these bombshells on the community. Like you said, all the artists, even the writers. I mean, there's some good writing going on out there. People making their own mini comics, storybooks. I mean, the list goes on and on. This community really is incredible, and it's great to be a part of it.
Definitely.
So now's the time. So we like being a part of your community. Come be a part of our community. Go ahead, hit all them buttons down below. The like, the share, the subscribe. Even you guys on Podbean, and I don't know so much about iTunes. They probably don't have it because they're an inferior platform. But, Podbean, they got the little thumbs up thing there, the heart, whatever, follow. I think they call it following on there, not subscribing. Follow us over there if you would. It'd be great to see who's actually, because I know there's a lot of viewers out there because I see the numbers. It'd be nice to put some names with those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and head over to our Facebook page. Join up there. Like I said, we post up stuff all the time, different art, promoting other things, and you'll know when we're doing stuff here and there. It's a good time. Come on over. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So
I'd say so.
Until next time.
Until next time.